oil is extracted with absolute disregard for the environment. The fossil fuel industry is dangerous, polluting, harmful, destructive, warmongering, and should be stopped. I live in Nigeria, a country that has depended on revenue from crude oil and gas for some decades now.
In 1956, the first oil field was set up in the Niger Delta. 30 years later, the oil industry was the major source of income for Nigeria.
By that time, the head of the government of Nigeria, a military head of state, said the problem of Nigeria was not money, but how to spend the money. The government of Nigeria is very rich, but the people of Nigeria are not rich. And that disconnect is the problem that I confront in my daily work.
Nnimmo Bassey graduated in architecture, though his interests were always wide-ranging.
I read a lot about people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, and their activism in the US really made me see why standing for justice was so very important. And then, of course, I saw simple, ordinary people bring about big changes because of the way what they did. I read Gandhi. Then there were a lot of South African students, and we were schoolmates, and then we could learn more about what they had to escape from apartheid, then apartheid South Africa. So there were a number of issues that got me to question even the Nigerian system and what was happening on the African continent.
In 1993, Nnimmo Bassey co-founded Environmental Rights Action and served as executive director for 2 decades. The organization is part of Friends of the Earth International, the world's largest grassroots environmental network. From 2008 to 2012, Nnimmo Bassey served as chair of Friends of the Earth International. The Nigerian branch of the organization unwearily denounces damages caused by the petroleum industry in the Niger Delta.
Oil pipelines are laid above the ground. They are laid through forests, through swamps, and this has caused a lot of deforestation and loss of land for the people.
More than 7,000 kilometers of pipelines run through the Niger Delta. Most of them are more than 30 years old and in poor condition.
There are regular losses, oil spills, from these very ancient pipelines that crisscross the creeks and the lands of the Niger Delta. I receive reports of oil spills almost every day. I receive reports of conflicts and rising, brewing, building up conflicts regularly in the oil fields, the grabbing of people's lands, pollution of people's farms and creeks.
Nigeria gained independence from Britain in 1960. Throughout its history, various military juntas seized power and controlled the country for many years.
When I started my work as an environmental justice activist, Nigeria was under military rule, and it was very rough. Myself and my colleagues were often incarcerated, detained, or harassed.
Activists even paid with their lives for their commitment. Another laureate of the Right Livelihood Award, Ken Saro-Wiwa, and 8 fellow activists were executed in 1995. Their trial was condemned as a judicial farce. International outrage led to Nigeria's immediate suspension from the Commonwealth of Nations.
If you are an environmental activist, human rights activist, there's a limit to how much you can protect yourself. The best defense we have is to stand with the people, understand what the people want, understand what their right is, and to stand for the truth. If standing for the truth, I believe truth is the best defense.
Meanwhile, Nnimmo Bassey is internationally renowned for bringing his expertise to conferences and talks on climate and development all over the world. Still, he lives and works mainly in Nigeria.
Since 1999, we've been under democratic structures, and so it's a lot easier to mobilize and to work with local communities to defend the environment.
One thing Nnimmo Bassey and his colleagues decided early, they will not sit down with oil companies.
It's like talking to somebody who cannot hear you, and you can't even sign language. There's no communication. So you're just wasting your time talking with such entities. So there's a very strict line drawn on that. No compromises on this. But if it's a meeting with government, oil companies, diplomats, NGOs, community leaders, and we all sit in one big room and talk about the issue, then I'll be there.
Nnimmo Bassey and the organizations he's working with support local communities in challenging large companies or government laws in court, either in Nigeria or internationally.
I've seen over the years that the real pressure is only built when the people who are impacted stand up for their rights.
In 2010, Nnimmo Bassey received the Right Livelihood Award.
When I got a call that I had been selected as a winner, I was really absolutely stunned.
I salute the courage of all those who took this path for the resolution of conflict. I salute the suffering communities and peoples resisting destructive extraction. It is their courage that sustains our struggle. In solidarity, we march ahead, and we will not give up. Thank you very much.
I knew how important the prize is because I know that the Right Livelihood Award offers a broad network of activists across the world. And this is the kind of expansion that an activist really is glad to be in. Because what is important to me is solidarity. And we have to be able to link our hands together and work together. That's the way to survive in the battle.